Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 26 of our Timberborn playthrough. If you guys are new to the series, don't worry about it. We'll go through a quick recap and then we'll go ahead and get into the video. So let's get into it. All right, let's bring up the UI. So let's see, in the last episode, we worked on a few things. We got our algae production up and running. So we're gonna need to get ready to produce some of those algae rations, which should be pretty good. And we're pretty well established with a mangrove area. Now, I don't know if this is gonna be enough mangrove. We're starting to kind of tick up. You can see that a lot of these new mangrove that we planted have started to bear some fruit. So hopefully that'll start to work a little bit better. We'll have to see. Honestly, I don't really know how much more we could fit in without a ton of dynamiting going on, but that's okay. We also worked on expanding our dam area. You can see that they have finished this area and they're working on more dynamite. And then we started to clear out an area for some bot production so we can get some of those going. So, all right, let's get started with some of the things that I want to do today. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to give them another area of dam to work on up here in Wheelington. So let's go ahead, let's get some stairs in there. We'll just give them a nice kind of limited patch that they can work on. That should be good. I'm not going to go ahead and prioritize it or anything. They can kind of keep working on stuff. But the reason I'm not going to prioritize it is because I want to prioritize the bot production that we are about to start. So let's go into our science and let's start to get some bot stuff. So we're going to need bot factories. We are going to need one of each of these. So we are going to need, let's see. So how do these fit in? They do require power. So I could fit in 3, like right here. And that would allow me to get the power connected just right off the bat. So why don't we do that? Why don't we get 3 of those right here? Actually, before we do that, let's take a look at what these need for resources. So these need planks, metal blocks, gears. Do I want to put some storage up here for all of that? Maybe? Like if I were to put a little storage area here. So why don't we remove this and we will instead route this power like this. So let's go ahead, let's put this on the highest priority. And then I think we're gonna need some platforms over here as well. Because what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do planks and metal blocks like this. We'll actually get rid of these stairs. And we can move these stairs over to here. So that will give access to both of these. So this will be planks and metal blocks. And then we'll need some gear storage. Probably just 1. Maybe 2. Might as well. Let's get some gear storage in there. And I guess we could put a little well-being in there. Not a bad idea. And then we'll have this come down here. So this will all be gear storage. I don't think they're gonna need anything else. Let's go into the bots and just make sure. Yeah, so planks, gears, and metal blocks. And then when we come down here, we're gonna have to make grease, but that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen later on. So both of these will be for gears, which should be good. And then this will get connected up. So that'll be our storage, which should be good. And now if we go into our science, we are going to need 3 of these. So if we're going to bring the power around, what if we did 3 like this? So 1, 2, and 3. But then I do need to get the power over here. Let's see, what else am I gonna have? I'm gonna have the bot assembler, which is going to need power as well, which I could put here, and then charging stations. Charging stations, these are just 1. But they do require power, so they could connect in here. Yeah, so this would probably work. So if we get a bot assembler in there, and then maybe we fill out maybe to there with platforms. I don't know why, but we could. Although, you know what? That's probably not necessary. Why don't we get rid of all of these? We'll get rid of that for now so that we can turn this power and run it to there. And I'm just going to go ahead and prioritize all of this power stuff before we get too far into it. And then I guess I also have to prioritize this set of platforms as well, so that we can start getting this, and then we'll have to kind of route the power around and connect it into here. But that should work. And then we'll have a path just running down like that. So that should work for our little bot area for now. And let's see, so one of these is going to make the chassis, another one is going to make the limbs, and then another one is going to make the heads. And that should be good. Let's give this all some priority here. So we'll have them build that power, then the storage, and then these. And then what I think I'm going to do, let's go into triple speed, is I'm going to put all of this on moderately low priority. So they'll kind of work on this stuff in this order first, so that we can at least start getting these filled with storage, storage items. And that should be good. Okay, so while they work on that, let's go back down to River's Edge, and let's take a look at the algae. Let's see, do we have any algae yet? We do. We have 180, yeah, so we are starting to get some algae, which is excellent. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of these corn ration factories and switch them over to algae rations. So hopefully they'll just get rid of the corn stuff that they have. And then they will start producing algae rations, which they are. And hopefully those 2 are enough. We'll have to see. I had 4 making corn rations, and we've been maxed out on corn rations pretty much from the moment that I did that. So I think 4 is probably excessive. So we'll see if 2 works. And we'll also see if the corn rations can sustain at the level that they're at. I have a feeling that they will. If for no other reason than, all the beavers have already had corn. So, it's, we should be fine. I think, anyway. But okay. So, how are they doing over here? Kind of slow going, which is fine. They'll get to that eventually. But let's come over here to the area where the bots will go. Our first bot-only district. So this is gonna be good. We're gonna need to irrigate this, and I think in order to do that, what we're gonna end up doing is ripping out these, what are they called? Floodgates, and replacing them with dams. Now, unfortunately, that's gonna drain a ton of our water. I wish I didn't have to do that, but I feel like my only other option is to build a dam in front of this, and then and then delete the floodgates. Yeah, maybe we'll just do that so that we don't spill all the water. So let's get a dam built over here. And then let's go ahead and remove all these staircases. And then let's get a little dam built right there. And I don't really know what else they would work on in this district, but I'm just going to have them build that first. And then we'll go ahead and remove these floodgates, and then we will put a water pump on there, at least one. So in order to power it, we're going to have an engine. And we're just going to have an engine right here. So let's get one engine in there, hooked up with a path, and I'm just going to put this on a medium high priority. So they work on these dam pieces first, and this really shouldn't take them an excessive amount of time to accomplish, but I think it should be good. We got plenty of resources. We got tons of logs. They can come right here to get the logs. So really shouldn't be a huge issue. They should be able to accomplish that fairly quickly. And now over in this new district area, where are we going to have our district crossings? Well, I think we're going to just have 2 of them, like right here, eating up this space. So we'll have a bunch of different district crossings here, and then we're going to need some storage, some storage for goods and such. And I think what we'll do is we'll set up a small storage area here. So maybe something like this. Just so that we don't use all of the what was I going to say? Just so that we don't use all of the what will be green land that we can plant more trees on. So this should be good. So why don't we go ahead and get a path just running across there, and we'll go ahead and get some storage in here. I think we'll do. What are we going to need? Logs, planks. Maybe 2 for logs, 2 for planks. Metal blocks, probably. So let's say 2 for logs, 2 for planks, 1 for metal blocks. And then we're not going to need any food, so no real reason to do food. So let's get those in there. But what we are going to need, if we take a look at this, we're going to need gears for sure. We will need explosives. What else do we need in here? I don't really think we need anything else. So why don't we get explosives? Let's get a lot of explosives. So let's do 3 for explosives. And that should be good to kind of get us started. So we'll get these hooked up. And then I think I'll just put in some small warehouses here just for continuity. I think we'll make this one gears, and then this one explosives. And you know what? I'm actually going to make this one. Oh no, treated planks are not. They're in one of these, aren't they? I don't really know what they would need for treated planks. They would need it for the mine. So why don't we get one of these in here for treated planks? And then we will relay this out. So we need gears and explosives. So let's spin this around. Let's do something like that. So this is going to be explosives over here. And then these will be gears. So that'll be good. That'll take a decent amount of time to build, but I do want them to prioritize all of this over here. I don't think... Oh, they've actually started on the engine. Excellent. I would actually love it if someone would turn that on so that we could quickly turn it off. And then we're going to have a power shaft right here. I'm going to pause that. But let's just check our power. So this is going to produce 400. And one of the deep mechanical fluid pumps needs 700. So I actually need 2 of those. All right, so let's delete all that just so I can more efficiently use this space. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put platforms in there. And then if we get engines, I think I'll do 2 engines like that, and I'll run a path down here. And then we will do something like this. We'll connect that one up, and then a turn in there. And I think what I'll do is I'll prioritize these over the engines themselves. And I'm just going to make those a medium high priority, just to make sure that those get built before they get blocked in. That'll be good. But that'll give us enough power for 1 water pump. And we'll have to see if 1 water pump is enough to fill this and fight the natural evaporation of the water. I would like to think that it would be, but we might need 2, in which case we might need another engine or 2, which wouldn't be the best, but wouldn't be the end of the world either. So why don't we just go ahead and dynamite this away and apologize to my computer for the frame rate. the loss of frame rates. And then let's go ahead and get some dynamite in here. That'll be good. Okay, cool. So Wheelington has finished this area. So let's continue laying out the stuff. So we're going to need a bot assembler right here. And then why don't we put in a few charging stations? Probably not a bad idea. And then we're going to have the power just kind of wrap around right here. So let's do some triple power shafts here, and then a turn. And then we'll get that hooked up like that. So let's delete those power stations just for now. I actually am going to get this stuff built first so that we can put those power stations back in and then get the power hooked up, which would be perfect so that we can actually get this running. So what are we waiting on here? Gears. We've got planks and metal blocks, which is perfect. Those are filling up. And then we actually have some nice scratchers right here, which is great. Gotta have scratchers. Got to have scratchers. But okay, so once these get hooked up, we've got everything we need for the most part. We've got all of the resources necessary, and then we're going to send these bots over to that new district, which should be good. Which should be good. All right, so let's get this last little power shaft in there. And then we can go ahead and get the charging stations in. 3 of them. And we'll get all this stuff built. And then these bots are going to have to be sent over to this new district once we get enough of them. So why don't we... So we actually need them to build this stuff before I can break off the district. Which is okay, not the end of the world. Why don't we maximize the priority here, and then we will medium high priority this so we can get the that water pump in. And if I take a look at this water pump, we have a drought coming in, which is actually going to be useful for us. So I could fit 2 pumps in here if we need them. So I think I'll put the first one right here. Which should be good. And they can reach this, so not a problem. Why don't we come in here and just add this set of stairs back in? Not that I think it's going to be super necessary, but at the same time, probably not a bad idea. And then have they started working on this at all? Yeah, they actually have. They're starting to build some platforms, which I think is going to be good. It's going to take a while. This is a lot of platforms, but, you know, it's certainly less than the prep work that we had to do for Wheelington. I mean, this prep work was enormous, laying out all that storage underneath, which I still think is one of my favorite things that I've ever done in this game, is all that storage. But okay, are we making bots? How do I tell if we have bots? I've never made a bot before. None. Wait, adults and children. I don't think we have any bots. I'm imagining it will just show up right here once we have a bot. Yeah, because this takes 3 days to make a bot. So we do have time. But okay, so if we come over here, why don't we start to get our little bot area set up? And by bot area, what I mean is we're going to have power, we're going to have engines and charging stations. That's pretty much it. So for engines, they are 3x3. So we're going to need the 3x3 area for those. And then we're going to need an area for a path, which I probably should have accounted for. And now, what did we say? One engine is 400 horsepower, and one charging station is 50. So we can support 8 charging stations with one engine. So what I think we'll do is we'll have an engine here, and we'll have a path running right down here. And then, if we go into our science, we can have charging stations here and here, and then a corner piece. That should be good. And then we can have a charging station here, and then a triple piece, and then 2 here. And that'll be 5 charging stations right here. And then we can just repeat that pattern going down until we have a bunch. And then a control tower. A tall structure that sends out a signal to nearby bots to boost their performance. Why don't we get a control tower? That would be good. Do they take power? They don't. Which is nice. So we could put one like right here. That would be good. I assume they can reach that, and it doesn't take any power, so I figure we would just kind of cover this whole area with control towers. That would be good. But okay, do we have any bots yet, or are we still working? I think we're still working on the first bot. And you know what? We might get to the point where it's good to have bots in like some key positions. Maybe like each district has like a builder's hut worth of bots. That can just work, you know, overnight. Or, you know, other stuff that is good. Water pumping would probably be good for bots. Just because it's so important that I think it would be a good idea to, you know, have it constantly operating. Let's go ahead and lay some dynamite in there. And they're actually almost done with this section, which is great. So we can rip this out and continue going back. As well as just kind of generally starting to raise the height all along this as well. I do think we still need to come up to... Yeah, that looks about right. So why don't we pause this, and then this can still get built. That's fine. But okay, so this has been built. So let's go ahead and remove these floodgates. And then if we spin around, just so I can clear out this rubble, we'll go ahead and remove those. And then we will go ahead and get a deep mechanical fluid pump right here. And I guess we'll finish this first and then this. But I do want to get that power laid so that we can back it out, which would be good. I hope that one fluid pump will be good. I have no idea because it says, what does it say? It says, it actually doesn't say how much it pumps. So I have no idea, but we can fit 2 in if we need to, which will be okay. And we actually have our first bot, which is huge. I think I'm just going to let the bots hang out up here in Wheelington until we have a couple, and then we can transfer them down to the new district just right off the bat, which would be good. But how do these work? So like if I open a builder's hut, unlocks this workplace for bots. Oh, that costs 250 science. Interesting. Very interesting. And what does this say? Bots, workers, vacancies, unemployed. Okay, so we got like a whole new line, that is very interesting. I've never, you know, like I've said like 6 times in this episode, if you've been listening, I've never used bots. So I do find it very interesting. So let's see, what do we need to actually break this district away? We need, right now, we pretty much just need planks and logs. So why don't we build all of this first? And that way I can break the district apart. Planks and logs will allow us to build the rest of this. I mean, not like some of this, not like this or the engines or the charging stations. Yeah, the charging stations. Okay, so why don't we build all of this? Let's build all of that to start. And we'll get some paths in there. That'll be good. Okay, so we have a drought. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do the usual thing. I'm going to pause all but one of our water pumps in each of these districts. And coming down here to the algae makes me reminds me to check. Oh, look at that. We've got so much algae. That's awesome. Not a lot of raw algae, but tons of algae rations, which is huge. But okay, one thing I wanted to do while we have a drought is I want to rip all of this out and shift it so that we can what was I going to say? Sorry. So that we can center our water pumps more in the middle here. And I just kind of realized that I probably shouldn't have deleted all of those platforms, but that's okay. But this will allow us to center our water pumps in this area and allow us to bring the dam on the outside to its full height. So in order to do that, let's see. So we're going to have, if I spin this around, so we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess I could go to 8. 8 water pumps right there, which would be good. And then over here, we're going to have 1. I guess we'll just mirror this all the way down here. And then we can go ahead and get the pumps in. Five, 6, 7, 8, and then we'll spin these around and they will just sit right here. Just like that. And then we'll just have to get these paths in here. And it looks kind of weird right now just because of the double path, but this should work itself out. And I think we'll leave that platform there and we will get a nice beaver bust in. But that'll be good. And this is going to be a priority. So let's put all of this on maximum priority to get this stuff built. I don't really... Yeah, they're working on like some dynamite and building stuff over here, which is just not super important. So I think this will be the priority. And that way we can at least get our water pumping back up and running. And then we can continue to raise the level of these dams, which would be good. All right, so if we come down here, how are they doing? So we've got log storage. We are about to have plank storage, and then they are working on this engine area. And then we should be able to break this district off, at least to some capacity. We can start to transfer the bots over here, which would be great. All right, so they got this little power set up. Let me just pause this because they got nothing to supply power to. And let's get these up and running. And I guess I'll just have this filter to water, but it doesn't really matter. There should never be bad water in here as long as I pay attention. As long as I keep my eye on when to close those floodgates, we should be okay. But we're all right. Can they build this control tower? Yeah, might as well. I'll add that to the high priority list. Get that control tower built. And then I think we're going to put a couple district crossings right here, which obviously on one side will be manned by bots. And maybe that would be a good job for bots. District crossing workers. Oh, and I didn't give them any storage for these parts. I just realized. Although, do I need to provide storage to them for the parts? Probably. So why don't we give them that? So why don't we do, what do we need? 1, 2, and then 1 more. And I will get rid of this lantern so that I can run a path behind here. And so this is chassis. So this will store chassis. And then this is limbs. So this will store limbs, which means this one is going to store heads. And why don't we give this a medium high priority so that they work on that after the fact. And I don't know where the bots are. There's just 2 of them just kind of running around somewhere. Who knows? who knows where. But the beavers are making good progress on all of this, which should be good. That should work pretty well. And then I don't think... Oh yeah, they've actually started working on this, which is good. And the storage has actually started to fill, at least with planks, no logs yet. But we're actually quite low on logs, so hopefully that will start to fill eventually. Okay. So we've got 3 days, just about 3 days left in the drought. And I really want to get this set up because we're going to have to do a ton of metal gathering and then dynamiting. I really want to dynamite off like this whole top area. For what? I don't know. Log harvesting, I guess. And then we're going to have to dynamite out a lot of this area for water storage. Not really necessary, but I think it'll be a fun little project for us to do. Which I think that would be good. They started on any of this? Probably not. They're probably working on these water pumps over here, which I imagine will take quite a while to do. But luckily we're in a drought, so there's not a real rush, not a real urgency for it. And maybe we'll plant some canola over here so that we can make grease. I've kind of been told that grease consumes a lot of canola, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because the grease is consumed faster than the. Let's see, a factory that makes bot machinery run smoother. Yeah. So I imagine we'll need some kind of grease production over here. So we'll see how that works. And I'm just going to pause this for now. There's really no reason to have it operational. But what I am going to do is I'm going to continue the charging station. So let's get all of that built as well. Not super necessary, but might as well. If they're still working over here. And then I do want to get this done, this control tower. So hopefully this gets finished up and then we can start to break this off because we've pretty much got everything we need. With the exception of logs, obviously. So the control tower is now operational. Oh, this consumes science. Very interesting. Yeah, that's super interesting. Can district crossings be made for bots? Yes, they can. Very cool. Okay. So, with that being said, why don't we break this off? Because we're pretty much good to go. This doesn't have any logs. So why don't we have these both obtain goods just for now so that these get filled and then we can break this off. Just that we have logs and planks because that's really what we need. And we have 3 whole bots, which is pretty great. And look at that. Look at the number of people coming over here. That's awesome. Okay, so let's, there are actually a couple more things that I want to get done over here before I break this off. So let's get 2 more little chargers right there. We're going to get a district center here. I think that'll be good. Maybe here? Let's see. Because I want a couple builders' huts. Like this. And then, can these transfer power? Can builders' huts transfer power? My guess is no. So what do I fill these spaces with? Like, do bots care about the time? Or a bell? I don't know. What do bots care about? Like, do bots have well-being? I have no idea. I guess let's just put a lamp there for now. And then I guess our district crossing will be right here. So that'll be good. So let's get, I guess, this path done so that I can put a district crossing right here, and we can at least get a couple builders. And then we'll get these charging stations done as well. All right, so those are the priorities for now. And then let's come over here. Let's get this last power shaft in, just so we don't forget about that. And let's see how we're doing with the water pumps. We're doing good. So these are going to be maximum priority, and they're going to be prioritized by haulers, which we need to remember. And we have 22 unemployed beavers over here. So why don't we pause a couple of those? And I know people have left the comment. They're saying that like I pause all of these and then I'm shocked when I have so many more unemployed beavers. Entirely true. I totally do that. At the same time though, this is only, what, 9 jobs and we've got 22 unemployed. So I think pausing a couple breeding pods is not the end of the world. At least for this district. And it looks like our mangroves are finally starting to increase, which is awesome. That is great. So, and it looks like we're getting this path built, which is perfect. So we can get our district center in there. And then once we have that district center built, we're going to break this off and we're going to move some bots down here. So currently we only have 3. And we've got another one, looks like about, yeah, 3/4 of the way there. So 3/4 of the way of 36 hours. I don't really know. But I actually just realized we're probably really hurting on power. Yeah, totally are. So why don't we get a little bit more power going? So let's get another row of power in here. And I think this is what we need. So we'll need some stairs going up there, and then we'll need a path there. And then we'll need paths down there. We will need our beaver statue. And then we will need a power shaft and a beaver bust. And I'm just going to use medium priority on all of that to start. And then we can get those in. So once they actually build the stuff, they can add those generators in, which should be good. All right, awesome. And this is now free. So why don't we break that off? I'm going to set these back to normal. So all of those are now normal. And then we will get a district center in right here. And I'm going to need a name for this. Actually, I have a bunch of names. I just need to go into the comments and look up what they were. But let's go ahead. Let's get a couple district crossings in. So I'm going to get, I think, 2 right here. And we'll get those hooked up. And then these are going to be the highest priority of the district to get built, and then we can go ahead and move the bots over. But if anybody has a cool bot district name, definitely let me know. But I did get a lot of I do have a lot of names in the comments, so we do have options. Cool, we're getting a little bit of storage for stuff, which should be good. But if I remember correctly, these are fairly even. 18 hours essentially to make one full set of everything, and this takes 30, so it's kind of a 2 to 1. So this should start to stockpile, which is fine. Okay, cool. So these are all built now, so let's just make sure that these are all highest priority and ready to go for haulers, and that should give us a ton of water production, which would be great. And this is super tedious. I wish I could like select multiple buildings, but I don't think I can. I don't think that's a thing. And then I do need to remember to unpause all of those other water pumps. So let's come back down here and do that. before we forget. And by we, I mean me. Although I'm sure you guys would let me know in the comments if I forgot to unpause them. At least I would hope. At least I would hope. All right, so did this get built? It did. Okay, so let's go into our districts here. So Wheelington is going to send all of the bots over here to District, what is now District 5. And now we've got bots, which is perfect. So I'm going to enable this for bots. And what do we have? We've got 4 bots in here. So I'm going to bring this down to 2 bots so that I can have bots here. And I'm going to... I guess I'll bring that down to 1. Maybe I'll just bring both of those down to 1. So that we have 2 bot workers, 2 bot builders here. And I'm going to make sure that the transfer station is at the highest priority. And then I think we'll unpause this. Oh, we need haulers to supply this. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so why don't I rip this out? And I'm going to go ahead and get a hauling post right here. And this all is going to be the highest priority of this district. This is going to be the lowest priority for workers. But it is going to be 10. And I am going to allow bots in all of these. This is going to be low. That'll be 1. This is going to be moderately low. Yeah. And these are going to be the highest. So we've got 2 bots working there and 2 working here. We do have another bot, so let's send it down. So this now has 5 bots, one of which is unemployed. So I'm just going to increase that all the way. So we have bots all over the place. So hopefully they'll work on all of this. And they should be well within the range, which is good. But we do need to get haulers so that these don't run out of charge. And they do have some charge. Oh, see, this one ran out of energy. Let's put this on medium, because I want to get haulers so that we can actually... And let's see, these are going to be bots, and these are going to be bots. There we go. Okay, cool. Anyway, guys, this is probably going to bring us to the end of the episode. We got our first bot district up and running, which is awesome. That is super great to see. I'm super excited. I've never played with bots before. This is the first time I've made it this far in the game. So I'm super stoked. If you guys are excited, definitely let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel so you guys can stay up to date on this series as well as some of the other ones we're going to do in the future. And I will see you guys. Until then, have a great day. Thanks.